Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the next episode of the Aurora 4X C# Uncut Season 2 Let's Play series. Hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. We're going to be getting right into the next one as we continue to begin our colonization with our proud German Empire. As we have managed to survey all of Earth, and in this episode, our plans are for colonization efforts, exploitation efforts, and to spread our influence over and across the system, so to speak. We also have been managing to survey Minerva over here, but it's so far not really shown anything of use. There was some Gallicite, but it was such low accessibility, it didn't really matter to us. So I think these vessels are pretty much done, and I'm going to send them both over to begin an immediate refuel resupply order, and then also just stop surveillance. Now we need to look towards a merchant fleet at the end of the day. I think that's going to be really where we need to be looking towards. So that's what we're going to do. So in terms of the merchant fleet, we have the Alexandria coming online soon, which will allow us to begin immediate colonization efforts. I'm going to order another 3 freighter vessels, and then I'm also going to begin to continue capacity upgrade these 2 shipyards in particular. Now, I've come up with a bit of an idea for how we're going to do cargo. So we already have freighters, right? But I'm thinking, and it's become very popular over on Discord from what people have been talking about, is using tugs as kind of like attachments. So you have one tug, we have different tugs with different size engines that can carry different payloads of quote unquote stations that have cargo holds, have all this stuff that you can build in the street, load on, and it's very, very flexible. So you don't have a bunch of freighters just sitting around. If you don't need them to be freighters, you can have them be colony ships. You can have them be fuel transports. You can have them be ammunition transports. You can have them be other things. And I think that's a really good idea. So to make that a reality, 2 things we're really going to need. We're going to need ship track beams, which are in logistics. So we're going to need that, and that's a big research. And then we're also going to be needing better size engines, because using size 25 engines is going to get really inefficient really, really quickly. So we have to keep that in mind. But I think that is going to be the way going forward, especially as we begin to expand out of the system and go into colonization efforts, colonization areas. I also want to say there were a lot of German comments in the last episode, and yeah, a lot of people very, very excited for the series. Some even tried to help me pronounce some of the words. I thought I was pronouncing Kaiserreich correctly. I think I am. That is an I in there, Kaiserreich. Kaiserreich or whatever, and then someone tries to help me pronounce. I'm just gonna bring the word up because definitely gonna be able to pronounce it. So we have Abteilung. I'm going to presume that the pronunciation for this is Logistic Abteilung. Logistic Abteilung. Something like that. And then Vermessung Abteilung. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'll give it a go. Maybe every episode I'll just have a I'll just have a look through my neighbor log list and try and pronounce the names on it, see if I can get any better. Anyway, so we finished off transporting infrastructure to both Luna and also to Mars, with Luna being able to support a 4.95 million population and Mars being able to support a 4.67 million population. I also forgot in the last episode to assign an academy commandant, so that is what I'm going to do. I'm specifically going to be assigning someone with high, so I want a scientist with research admin, so that would be biology and genetics, but ground combat guy, no, we're not going to do that. Construction and production could be useful, so I'm going to actually assign a construction and production guy because we're going to need that. And now let's start incrementing along here. We're currently 1993, and we finished up our first Alexandria class vessel, the Albuquerque. And we're going to now detach, and then rename this to the first colony group squadron. And then we're going to assign that to the Imperial Logistic Abteilung. This is so bad. Okay, low colonists. We're going to immediately begin to unload them onto Luna. Shouldn't take too long at all. There we go. We've managed to load the first colonists onto Luna. And I'm going to continue to do so now. We've got 100,000 people on Luna. I'm gonna just load up to 1 million people onto the moon. So we're gonna go for 9 or 8 repeat orders. Shouldn't take too long. And there we go. We've got our first commercial vessel, which is perfect. And we've got our first colony, which is also perfect. Okay, both vessels are now back, and so that means that how long would they have served with us now? The Beirut class vessel. They would have served shipping class for approximately 6 years. So they would have a 6-year service life. It's a little bit short, but there's no need for them at the moment, so they're just soaking up resources and maintenance that we don't really want to be giving them. So I'm gonna scrap both of the vessels. It's unfortunate, but it's just what you gotta do. Okay, there we go. Now I've got a proper colony ship from the freight line, so we're going to start growing up our populations organically now. The next priority, I want to start colonizing Mercury, predominantly because Mercury, if we have a look over at the mineral amounts, Mercury has access to iridium, boronite, neutronium in decent accessibilities, and we can make pretty good use of all of those technologies and all those things. So I'm going to produce 2,500 infrastructure effective immediately. And how's our war situation? Because we did have to pause construction of research, so I'm going to actually try and unpause that now that we have a little bit of an improvement in terms of the amount of wealth we have. We also finished up 3 more Buckley class vessels, and we're going to do the exact same thing we did with all the other ones. We're going to detach and then rename those to the 3rd cargo group squadron. And slot them straight into the Imperial Logistic Abteilung. So the next thing we need to realize is that as we begin to colonize, we're going to need to provide planetary protection value. So we're going to need to probably make ourselves, first off, a naval shipyard. But the idea, I think, is going to be a small patrol boat, specifically an FAC size or corvette size vessel. And to do that, I'm going to actually, we're going to need another naval shipyard complex. So I'm going to build one of those. And I'm going to, for now, I'm going to say, modify to that, no, 0.348. 0. Yeah, okay. And then once that's done, we're gonna start construction of a naval shipyard, and then we'll go back to building what we need to build. Okay, the Greif and the Wildshaven have. I know I'm pronouncing that correct. I'm proud of pronouncing that correct. I am very, very proud of that. But I'm not pronouncing the other stuff correct. Either way, the Greif and the Wildshaven have been scrapped as according to what we need. And we've got transports now going back as Mars begins to see colonization efforts begin. So now we have both. I'm going to make sure we assign governors to both of these colonies. So I'm going to do an auto assignment here, which should see governors be assigned. There we go. And they'll be able to help out as needed. So yeah, really, I want to build up to a battleship, battleship ideas. And because we're at such low technology levels, we want to really be focusing on carronades. And that's where I think my priority, because we only need one tech from the carronades, and we can focus all the other research on other areas. While if we went railguns, we went lasers, we would have to focus multiple other areas of research. Production of research facility completed. That's perfect. I'm going to keep assigning laboratories to our power propulsion person, who's at 30% now, which is absolutely fantastic. We're going to have improved nuclear thermal engines very, very, very shortly here. And then I'm going to begin to make trials of testing out the ideas of our cargo vessels. We also complete research of our first active sensors, which is perfect, which means we can actually make a warship vessel now. I'm going to assign, we've got 45% bonus on sensors and control systems, which is lovely. Let us go for getting ourselves better fire control speed rating then. I think that's only apt as we continue our research. We got improved nuclear thermal technology, which is a perfect research for us. I'm going to now cut the labs down, and we're going to assign the rest to getting us better liters per hour, engine moderate, and engine size as well. And then in other regards, I'm going to have logistics. When I cancel this, I'm going to have logistics focus on researching ship-to-ship tractor beams, which will take quite a bit of time. We'll have our naval shipyard done shortly, which will be good. Okay, production of naval shipyard completed, and now I'm going to put the rest into getting us 5 more laboratories. Racial wealth is still going up, which is fantastic news. And I'm going to begin to just keep adding slipways here continuously, adding more and more slipways. Okay, we can be purposes, which is good. Financial centers complete at Earth, which is also good. I'm now going to put the rest of the construction into 25% into mines, and another 25% into construction factories. Specifically, we're going to order up 200 more construction factories to be constructed. And we want to get to about 1,000, in my opinion, for a strong industrial base. So let's add it to Roscom Company Earth. How's that infrastructure? We only have all of the infrastructure that we need. So I'm going to order cargo group. So you guys can be like 90 infrastructure at a time, right? So we'll just move them in 3. So you're going to load infrastructure, unload it on Luna, refuel at Earth, and that will be 30 infrastructure at a time being moved between planets. Oh, I don't want to unload it there. I want to unload it at Mercury. So okay, colony, unload that to Mercury, and then refuel from Earth. So we're going to need how much are we going to need for a 10 million population on Mercury? Well, either way, we have about 2,500, so 2,500. Divide that by 30. That gets us 83 repeats. What we need to do. So 83. And that'll take a little over 2 years to complete. But now we should begin colonization efforts for Mercury. Next, I'm going to begin to expand out our maintenance yards. The primary reason for this is the fact that if we have a look, we actually don't have much capacity, and we're going to need to get more capacity as the time goes on. So I'm going to add another 25 yards, 25 maintenance facilities, and then I'm also going to begin to construct 3 more ground force construction complexes. Okay, we have an inactive lab on Earth. Assign that to there. We should have that research now finishing up, which is good. Maintenance facility construction completed on Earth, which is nice. And we need to keep adding the slipways on here. Ideally speaking, research into better fuel efficiency completed, which is perfect. Yeah, so now we have issues. So we're going to have to design ourselves a patrol boat. So that's exactly what we'll do. I guess we'll call it the Buckley. Actually, should we even give these proper names? I don't really think so. We might just want to give these alphanumerical designations. So I want to call this We'll call it Fast Patrol Craft. I'm gonna give it can I give it like alphanumerical designation? We'll just call it name beginning with I. There has to be just like a number list, because that's what they did in the German Navy. Names beginning with XADBUS. German fast attack crafts. Guess we are gonna have to go with just the German fast attack crafts. If I can find the German, there we go. SMS, like one of them named from theme. And then we're going to also select a name, I think, from the German fast attack crafts. We don't want to give this too good of a name. We'll call this the Dommel class fast patrol craft. We need to design a carronade for it, so we're going to design ourselves a very, very basic carronade, indeed. So plasma carronade, 15 centimeter. It's going to have a reload rate of 30 seconds, which is pretty significant when you think about it. And we're going to call it the Mark 1 6-inch. So 6-inch / 15 centimeter naval guns. So naval guns will just be are just going to be how do I say this, plasma carronades for now anyway. Let's get prototypes. Let's add on the carronade. There we go. Remove the bridge first off. It doesn't need a very fast deployment time. We'll need a reactor for that. And we're also going to need an engine that will be able to suit our purposes. Let me have a look here. Look here. Bring the I need to bring up the calculator on the Aurora calculator. Now I don't expect this vessel to actually get into any combat, but I do want to design with some decent principles at hand. So we're going to be on improved nuclear thermal, 1.0, 25 HS, 0.9 uranium armor, and I'm going to go for a desired speed of 2,500 kilometers per second, I think. No feasible solution found for this. It doesn't need very far range, 2,500 kilometers per second, with a engine size of 7.9. We're gonna go like 3. 10 billion kilometers gives 1.4. So what if I go for like a 3,000 kilometer per second vessel? 3,750. I'll do it in increments of our beam fire control rating. Yeah, no. So we're just gonna go for 2,500. And I'm gonna go for a 5 billion kilometer range, which would basically allow us to cover most of the inner system. If you can see here, yeah, relatively comfortably. So it's gonna we need a 7.9 size engine with a single engine, a 1.0 power boost using improved nuclear thermal. So we're gonna use 7.9 HS engine. We're gonna create the engine and we're gonna call it the F53950 FS. So this will be small, fast, small, F3950 FS 395. We'll just go 395 since it is a fast attack craft. I'll only give it too big of an too big of a designation. I nuclear thermal drive. There we go. We're going to prototype that design. Perfect. And then yeah, we're going to prototype that design. Then I'm going to add that design straight on. Give us about 200 tons to play with here. We're going to need to add a beam fire control on here, so we're going to need a range of Well, we have a range of 60,000 kilometers, but I'm going to need a tracking speed of two times. So the tracking speed 2,500. We only are going to have a single weapon on the actual vessel itself, so we can actually cut down a little bit. We are going to need a larger range though, so this will be 100 tons at least. But I'm pretty much okay with that in regards to most of this. And we can also cut down in regards to the fuel, as we don't really need much fuel. So we'll add that being fire control on. That'll give us a decent hit chance. I mean, at our base range, we're going to get about 10,000 kilometers chance to hit, but that's pretty good for like an extremely early war vessel. You know, we're talking very, very, very early war here. So or not early war, but early design characteristics, right? So it's very, very cheap. We're talking 62 build points, right? So it's not, you know, we can build like 3 of these immediately, and that'll provide us with 12 power projection values. Next, we're going to need a reactor of some kind. So we're going to need a very, very small reactor here. Just enough. Yeah, that's exactly what we need here. And I'm going to call this the Mark 1 P. We're just going to call this the P1 IPWR, and I'm going to give it a company name as well. The Vindishgratz Schumann P1 IPWR. I hope that's even close to how that's pronounced. But excuse my very British nature. Okay, so add that on. That goes on the power to power the weapon. Now the only thing we're missing is going to be active sensors of some description, as well as just passives. I'm going to just fit a standard, I think it's just a standard active sensor on here. We could go for like a 0.1 because these are pretty expensive. Yeah, we could do like a 5. I mean, what's the range difference on that? 18 million compared to 0.1. We go for 0.5. That gives us 13 million. Yeah, I think a 0.25 sensor is pretty good. So I'm just going to call this basic navigational, basic detection radar. Ship detection radar. Prototype that onto the design, and then I'm going to go for a thermal and an active sensor, or thermal and electromagnetic. And these are just going to be 5-ton affairs. So this is going to be basic thermal radar. And then for the electromagnetic, I'm going to go for the exact same thing. So basic navigational radar, we'll go for that. So we post up the designs. We're just trying to fit everything into this design so it has some capabilities, right? So thermal, basic, as well as the electromagnetic sensors. Let's add all that in. Oops. Did not like that. I did not like that at all. Let's get rid of one of those fuel storages. Can't take away that just yet. That's annoying. I'm gonna have to take away the engine for now, right? And then get rid of the bridge, and then put the engine back on. We need to find some way to save tonnage of some description. Yeah, because how much is this? This is 5. Wait, what? It's 50 tons? No. That was wrong. That was bad design. That needs to be 5 tons. So basic. No, come on. Okay, that was bad. Basic navigational sensor at 0.1. There we go. Oh, it always doesn't do that. There we go. Prototype that design. Good. And then we're going to add that to the vessel. Oh, I didn't put radar in. That's what it should be. We'll just rename the component to radar. And I'm going to obsolete this component. There we go. And I'm going to add that. Okay, that gives us everything that we need. We just need to add the extra fuel that we took off to try and match what was required. And then I am going to put a little bit more. I'm going to put an extra maintenance storage bay on top. You know, worst case scenario, like these vessels would in roleplay terms would be like dealing with piracy and stuff like that, right? But if an enemy did show itself, they could sit on top of a jump point, for example, and just like hope and just fire. If we have enough of them, just fire off and hope to do some damage to a larger ship. But yeah, so 2,500 kilometers per second. But very, very fast for our navy at the moment, and this is gonna be our first ever naval war vessel. Well, not really. It's not really a naval war vessel. I would say it's a coastal defense ship, and it's a patrol boat, which is what it's really designed for. So now we're going to get a cabinet, but it does work as a vessel. It's not just a box with guns. It's an actual vessel, which can be used and can be authorized. It's not just a blank box with a thing that says I'm a gun on top. Which is usually what I do. So we're going to put that in. That'll be done in about a year. We need sensor fire control systems next, and I'm going to need the detection radars. So we're going to go for navigational, and then we're also going to need thermal radar, and then ship detection radar, and then also weapon radar. And then we're going to need a carronade research for the gun. Cancel that, and I'm going to give them an extra couple boosts in regards to sensors and fire controls. I'm actually going to cancel that fully and then just have them focus on getting all the sensors that we need. And we'll be able to use some of these other sensors just fine. There we go, we'll get those. And then once that's done, we're going to need to get I'm going to take one lab away and I'm going to give it to the energy weapons person. So we should have everything researched and ready within about a year's time, give or take. But there we go. Hopefully that'll be able to solve our military protection problems, but we will see. I'm going to build 4 of them if possible. That'll be done by the end of the year. Complete research into basic detection radar. Got another research lab, so I'm going to just assign it to here. What did we miss? Oh, also we're going to need to get the extra engine, so I'm going to actually assign more laboratories to you so that we can get the extra reactor that we're going to need to power the weapon. Eskenbach precious metals has been established on Kama Solar, which is nice. Basic thermal radar completed. Second cargo group squadron completed orders, which should now mean Mercury now is starting to gain a population. With now available workers working as a population, with the primary purpose is going to be for mining. So 30% on that mining bonus, and we're going to start moving over mines to begin, we're going to start moving mines over. So I'm going to actually combine these two into a total of 6 freighters. We're going to load mines, and then we're going to take them over to Mercury and load all installations. So we have, what's the working population on Mercury right now? So we don't want to overgo the amount of workers. So we have 1.5 million people, okay? So if I do this correctly, so 1.5 million, divide that by 50,000, gives us 30, so we need to send 30 mines over, and we have 20, we can send about 27 mines. Now, do we really even then 6, 8, 12, 24, 26? Okay, divide that by 6. That'll need us to do 5 transports of mines. So we will do all those, and that should get all the mines that we need. And then I'm going to have to set up a mineral transportation unit to move those mines accordingly. But we should now begin to start production. There we go, we're using all of our workers, just great there. And we're starting to produce lovely raw materials, which can then be sent back to Earth. And this is our first real mining colony that we are making a real profit, well, not profit, but mining amount from. And that 1.3 bonus really helping out. An extra 30% mining is just huge. This will be very, very useful. So now I'm going to detach. For now, I'm going to detach 1 vessel, and I'm going to rename this to the first mineral transport group with the designation Mercury. And then I'm going to have them load all minerals until full on Mercury, unload all minerals onto Earth, refuel from Earth, cycle those orders, and just keep them doing that. More fire controls and other things getting researched here. Hopefully we'll be able to get everything done. We just finished research on the reactor, so now we can put research back into other things. Let's finish up engine modifier, and then we're going to go for bigger engines immediately. We're going to need those size 40 engines, ideally. Carronade, complete the research. I'm actually going to continue the research for our weapon person, just to keep them trained up, keep them keen. Let's get you, we're getting on the 20 centimeter carronade, so that's the 8-inch gun, or the 20 centimeter, as I said. Beam fire control completed. Does that mean that we have everything that we need? Let me check. Yes, it does. So now we can begin to build the Dommel class vessels. We're going to build an initial regard of 4 of them, and they should be built incredibly quickly when you consider the fact that the cost of our vessel is 72 BP. The modification rate of the yard is 288 build points. So that's pretty damn good, if you ask me. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Those vessels will be built in a little under 4 months. So about a quarter of a year, 1/3 of a year, they'll be built up, which is really, really impressive when you think about it. I'm then going to put 1 scientist into better beam fire controls, 1 scientist into logistics. Well, we already have logistics on the way. Defensive systems is definitely the reason why I do want to actually improve, because it's less about the arm protection, more about the weight savings you gain from the better arms, especially early on. Okay, maximum engine modifier has been completed. There we go. And now we should see the SMS Alsfeld, SMS Dommel, SFS Najad, SMS Puma completed that construction. And they should all now be assigned captains. Corvette Captain, Kapitan Rolf von Dangle, Sigrid Perbant, and Maria Schwarzschild, Rosa Sorge. God, I'm probably butchering all these pronunciations, but you know what can you do at the end of the day? So now I'm going to create something with more German pronunciations to make it even worse. So I'm going to create a coast guard, basically, that these ships will be falling under. Let me just give me a second, guys. I do apologize. We have to get these names correct, otherwise, what's even the point? I mean, come on. Okay, so it's going to be Primary Purpose Patrol. It's going to be called the Day. One second. Let's play.
Die kaiserliche Küstenwache.
Die kaiserliche Küstenwache. Küstenwache. I think that's how it's pronounced. Anyway, that's what the Google Translate says, so we're going to be going with that one. So, kaiserliche Küstenwache. I think I got that's correct, which I'm really happy with. So the Kaiserliche Küstenwache, die Kaiserliche Küstenwache, and we're going to then under that we're going to create a fleet. First Coast Guard Division, and then I'm going to just grab all these vessels, detach them, move them into there, and then we got our full vessels accordingly. Furthermore, let's have a look at the protection values we're going to need. 16. Okay, so we've got plenty of protection values, no issues at all. So we're not going to construct any more vessels for now. There's not really much point to. I mean, we could, but it's just superfluous at this point. So I'm not gonna continue in that regard. Okay, yeah, congrats to all those Corvette captain. Corvette. I do not know what that means in I think that means lieutenant something. Korvettenkapitän. Yeah, it literally just means corvette captain, right? Which is interesting to think about, that they would name their, like, essentially lieutenant commander rank corvette captain. And that means frigate captain, I presume, captain of the sea, commodore, some kind of rear admiral, vice admiral, etc. Right? So, yeah, the commanding is something a little less than a corvette, but you know, they do them at the end of the day here. But also, I want to start establishing ground force construction points as we start to build up our facilities, as that will become an importance moving forward. I'm going to put you onto construction and production, so we always have someone doing that. We need to go for research specifically. But yeah, ground force stuff is something that I want to do. I want to create something like a Landswehr, or basically like a garrison force, a militia, that we, not a proper army, but just something that can do what we need it to do in terms of just securing planets, right? So I'm going to give them light personal weapons, light armor, very, very cheap cost, and I'm going to call this what is the name of militia? Give me militia, Mr. Google Translate. Militia. Is it literally just that? Milis. The militia, I presume. We'll call them guardsmen, since they'll be guarding areas. So we'll just call them infantry guardsmen. Guardsmen. I'll give it a designation of 1999. And light weapons, good. And for now, they're just going to be infantry, HQ, some logistics, and that's it. As there's not really much need for anything else at this point. We actually have decent racial armor strengths here, just due to the fact that we're going to carronade. So we're going to create that. I'm then going to create a headquarters, and we're going to form these units up into... Okay, so 3 tons, so that means that for 300... Let me calculate this, right? So 3 times 300, we get 900 tons. So 300 men, 900 tons. Headquarters, 1,000, that will get us 910. And then we can add, what would that be? 330? 330. 330. 330 times 3. That's a 990. Okay, that works. So we're going to go for... this would be the size of, like, a company. So we're going to call this company... Landswehr. What is the term for that? Landwehr. So we're just going to call this the company. I think it's called company in German. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Military company. It's not. I don't think it understands exactly what I mean by company, but company. We're just gonna go for Landwehr company then, as I'm not too sure. I don't want to just blazingly do stuff. Company lieutenant. I guess it would be a major in command. Company major. Avoid combat, as all good commanders do, of course. You know, avoid that combat. Crown combat now, and we're going to need to begin immediate research onto that. We'll also need troop transports to actually transport them over, which will need to be researched and dealt with. So I'm going to take away 1 lab from you, 1 lab from you, and I'm going to immediately begin assigning those labs here. We're going to grab everything that we need, and then I'm going to... We need to go for the troop transport base at the end of the day here, otherwise we can't move people around, which will become an issue. Okay, guardsmen completed. Now we're continuing. We can create major, which means we can now create the formation we want. There's going to have really no supply in it, but we're going to call this the Landwehr Company. And I'm just going to give it a what would the what's the army called in Imperial Germany? I always forget, but we're just going to call it for now Landwehr. There we go. So we have one major, and then we're gonna have 330 guardsmen. That gets us a total size of 1,000 tons, and is perfect for what we need. So we're gonna produce 3 companies of Landwehr, and then we'll ship those off as we need to. So those are done, and they're so incredibly cheap that we can just start mass producing. So we're basically going to train like 3 battalions. I usually don't go down to company size, but for now it kind of just works. So we're going to just keep training at like 3 battalions. So we now have 9 Landwehr companies. Yeah, 9 Landwehr companies, and then we'll be able to transport those over with small troop transports, which will be good. Okay, how is our middle transportation group going, by the way, and how is Mercury? Mercury has 1.79, so it needs another 30 mines, which is going to require 6 runs from the cargo group transports, which is what I'm going to do now. So we're going to go from mines, unload onto Mercury, refuel, do this another 26, so we need another 5 times. There we go. That'll take 30 days, apparently. We have the research facility that we can assign. I'm going to assign that to the ship tractor beams. So there we go. Second cargo group squadron has completed orders, which is lovely. And that means now that we have 60 mines over on Mercury. Mercury slowly signs out pace some of the other stuff. In terms of mining operations, that now means we're making 2,700 tons with a total production of 780 tons of minerals being extracted from Mercury. And the production of ground force construction complexes has now completed, which is also good. I'm actually going to increase military academies to build 4 more. And 25 here. And I'm also going to order up another 5, or actually 10 more labs, as that will be needed. I also want to eventually go and build up more naval shipyards, and specifically I'm going to build up to 3 more at 25. We're going to need them once we start getting research sorted out and start like founding some of our other stuff. We're going to need significantly larger yards, but there we go. Complete our research facilities, and so we've really expanded our research base and research industrial capacity here. We also want to start getting fuel harvesters at some point. Ship track has been completed, which is good. So now we can begin to design some of our other stuff once that's done as well. Logistics wise, I'm going to put the rest of the research now into two transport bays. And better, and just getting our power propulsion stuff sorted is going to be the priority here. When we go next, propel-led reactors. I think that's going to be the next priority. And that'll get us nuclear pulse engines, which will drastically improve what we need. Okay, we're now going to create we're going to call this class all-purpose tug. Okay, so APT, and we're going to give it a tractor beam, and then just a load of engines. So what is the shipyards that we can make? So we're going to call this 4,000 tons. So I'm going to bring up the shipyard thing really quick. So we're going to say we're going to build a 50,000 ton vessel. So 50,000 tons. Commercial. And I want a range of at least 40 billion kilometers. I want the speed and range when towing a 200,000, 2,000, 20,000, 200,000. I want at least 500 kilometers per second. Can you really not find any solutions to that? 300. 20 billion. Fine, just go for 2,500. 20 billion. And then it took calculation. No solution found. Literally 90% of the ship can just be that. Okay, so for a 200,000 ton, so 2,000, 20,000, 200,000. So that is, am I being correct there? That's 20,000, that's 200,000. So that'll be 500 kilometers per second, showing a 20,000 ton thing, which is, if we have a look, 20,000 tons is basically, cargo-wise, is 4 cargo holds, or 200,000 tons of capacity, so that can transport 4 things. I think a 500 kilometers per second rating on that is good, and then we can also fit smaller things onto that as we need to. So we're going to need 31 engines. Yeah, we need 31 engines. We can also increase the engine size, of course. There you go. So we have 20 engines, and that gives us a speed of 4,999. What if I want a 40 billion kilometer range? Yeah, my guess is what we need. So we need a size 39 engine with 20 of those engines. So we're going to design. We're going to create 39 engines. So the size 39. Then we're going to go all the way down. So that is correct, right? That's what they want us to do. Yep. And we're going to call this the C124. We're going to call it C1950 124.8. And then I'm going to give it a new nuclear thermal engine. And I'm also going to give it a company name. So the Richtmann Kupfer engine will be designed. And then I'm going to immediately begin to add the amount that we need. So we need, I think he said 20. There you go. So that's got 20 engines on it. I'm sure we don't need more than that. Oh yeah, we're gonna need the fuel, right? Yeah, we are. So so that gives us 850,000 liters. We're going to basically 900,000 liters here. We have the tractor beam already on, which is good. And what else do we need? Towing range 8 billion kilometers, which is we need that's not that far when you realistically think about it, right? Why is that saying that the actual tonnage would be that much when in actual fact it really wouldn't? Oh, I guess it's the available tonnage, right? So I could just add on, how big are these engines? Like 2,000, so I can just add like I think we'll take rid of those engines, and I'm going to put on instead just more fuel, because I think we're going to need it. That does really increase the fuel amount, the fuel costs, though, doesn't it? I think we'll stick with 1 million liters of fuel. So 52.5 billion kilometers. I'm going to round that up to 4,300 tons. There we go. It gives us really, really long range, decent speed, and gives us a total of 20 engines, the tractor beam, everything looking good. We're going to give this conscript. Just need to get the engine designed and readied. So let's go over here. I'm going to tell them to immediately begin research of the engine. Okay, good. Engine on the way. I'm going to assign new to this. Then once that's done, we'll be good in regards to that. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a thing called a... We don't want to shut. We're going to call this the cargo pod 200 kiloton. And I'm going to instead fit on standard Actually, we can move 8, right? That's a lot more than I expected it was to be. So no armor. We don't need a bridge. Oh, I guess we do need a bridge for some reason, even though this is going to be a station. That we don't need fuel. Oh, well, I guess we need engineering space. And then I'm going to fit on, where is it? Cargo shuttle bay. So 3 cargo shuttle bays. And then the rest is going to be cargo holds. Which gets us roughly what we need. So that gets us, it allows us to transport a total of 8 installations at once, and is going to be only 530 build points, and we can build that with industry instead of anything else, which works really well for us. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to put that into construction orders for space station. I'm going to put 3 of those in. We'll build 1 for now. We'll build them with the vessels. We'll build 1 modify that to 2 actually. And I'm going to make sure we actually rename this vessel new hull cargo pod. Cargo pod. So class cargo pod. And the purpose, of course, will be just for ferrying. So the idea is that we can just attach new different pods to the tug, and then they can move those things around independently and transport stuff around. That's going to be the general idea. We complete research into the engine, which now means that we can begin immediate building of the tug, the Blusher class tug, and I'm going to give that a. See if we. I'm going to name these after sea creatures. We're going to give them an actual designation. Actually, nah, they don't deserve a designation. Yep, so blue shirt class. And then I'm going to order up 1 to be built immediately. And then shipyard, the halibut class vessel. And that'll be done in 2004. So in a year's time. I should see the vessel complete now. Do we not have enough protection? Oh, wow, Luna's really ballooned in population, hasn't it? Stable. Mercury should be the one getting the population at the end of the day here. That's the thing, when you go through so many years, the population growth gets pretty ridiculous. So we're going to need to build 4 more Dommel class vessels then. Order up another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get those built. Blucher class, halibut class, the halibut's been completed. I'm going to build 1 more of those immediately as well. And how long until the military academies are done? Those will be done in September of next year. 4 more Dommel class completed, and then I'm going to assign those over into the 1st Coast Guard Division. So that gives us 8 vessels, and they'll slowly start training up as well. Alright, I think that's where I'm going to leave the episode off. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and special thanks to all my members. If you're interested in supporting the channel, supporting content like this, supporting the Shadow Empire series, supporting all that stuff, consider joining as a member, and even just leaving a like, comment, and subscribe, really does help me out. I'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Uncut.